I believe that I'm able to stand here and discuss this with you.
Murders are up
is
48%, shootings
a
are up
testament to God's
86%.
grace and his sweet, tender mercies. Just to be quite honest with you. Because what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish here is above challenging. We're asking cops to do too much in this country. Every societal failure, we put it off on the cops to solve. Not enough mental health funding, let the cop handle. Not enough drug addiction funding, let's give it to the cops. Here in Dallas, we got a loose dog problem. Let's have the cops chase loose dogs. Schools fail, give it to the cops. 70% of the African community is being raised by single women. Let's give it to the cops to solve that as well. That's too much to ask. Policing was never meant to solve all those problems. And I just ask for other parts of our democracy, along with the free press, to help us and not put that burden all on law enforcement to resolve.
Shootings are up 86%. He disbanded the anti-crime unit. His bail laws make it almost impossible to hold anyone in jail. His commissioner is beside himself. Key precinct commanders are quitting. This is a crisis.
The commander of the 46th precinct in the Bronx, Richard Bray, he apparently just had it. I mean, shootings in his precinct are up 600% over last year, in the last 28 days. There's been dozens of shootings, crime teams, and with the disbanding of the anti-crime unit.
One of our darkest days when I saw it last. And
the commissioner even has said that the criminal justice system is imploding.
New York, under siege.
Have him go and take a knee at the next precinct community meeting.
I do not believe we should ask the people of Seattle to test out a theory that crime goes
I'm
away
not doing it.
if police go
This isn't what I'm here for. We're not being allowed to do our job.
That is completely reckless.
African Americans represent 51% of our homicide victims, with about 13% of the population. In our cities, it's more like 80%. And like most homicides, offenders look like the people that they victimize. It's an urban tragedy, but the heart of the police dilemma is those neighborhoods that demand our services, need us the most, request us the most, depend upon us the most, for social and historical reasons, distrust us. And when there's a series of critical incidents like we've recently seen, that distrust is in high relief. We can't protect them effectively if we're not trusted, and the police are needed, as you've said, in those neighborhoods. And so the challenge is, how do we talk about both things at the same time without acting like we're blaming the African American community for their victimization, or that we're assuming that all police are racially biased? I understand the Black Lives Matter movement exists because there's a sensibility that Black lives didn't matter. All right? And that's for a number of social and historical reasons. It gets to exist and to advance that agenda. Doesn't mean anybody else's life doesn't matter. But for us, the problem's this. All there is the police in the community. There's no cavalry coming. Many of our cities are in states that are dominated by interests that act like the cities are the enemy. State legislators want to help us do something about guns. Well, what was that man doing with an assault rifle? I mean, fine, go to the funeral of the 5 cops. It requires some political courage. It requires mass movements. There's a lot of moving pieces here. So we have to work together. We know that. And everything that divides us makes us all more vulnerable. Makes the police more vulnerable, makes the community more vulnerable. They're the ones that need us the most.
After nearly 3 decades on the force, NYPD precinct commander, his name is Richard Bray. He just quit. He's over in the Bronx. The reason, instead of supporting police leaders are now placating rioters with measures like disbanding a plainclothes anti-crime unit, 600 strong. Police are also being held back as fireworks attacks are ravaging the city. Bill de Blasio has bigger concerns, though. He's just announced he'll be painting Black Lives Matter on a street outside Trump Tower.
Sure, painting Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower. Well, things like that, taking down statues, all of that's easy. Keeping neighborhoods safe, fixing the schools, that sort of thing is hard. So, people like de Blasio are always going to take the easy way out.
They're clapping because they're looking for leadership, and they admire it when they see it. To do a job that takes so much away, all they're asking for is to be supported. We expect them to be everything, and we keep demanding as if there were no limits. Decency is a small price to pay for their sacrifices. They're being defunded. Neither the family outing in LA or the mother with her 2 children walking through the park in New York are safer without them. We're in more danger without them. The world is now watching while politicians play the safety of the public Desecrating the law enforcement community is not helping anyone. No one is helping to improve the system by abolishing it or defunding it. Those who are doing nothing to stand on the right side of history act accordingly and display some courage, because nothing will change if the silent majority stay silent.